What's going on? Welcome back. So today we are installing dash cameras in my 2017 Tacoma. Hopefully you saw the previous videos of the dash cameras we're using, as well as the one installing it into my girlfriend's Maxima. But today we are doing the Tacoma. So let's jump right into it. Okay, so here's some of the parts that we're using to install the dash cameras into the Tacoma today. We are installing two of them. I'm going to have one facing forward and one facing backwards. So the one facing forward, we're going to use this mount to clamp it to the rear view mirror. The reason for that is because I don't want to stick something to the windshield, because windshields have to be replaced, and that's just one less headache that I'll have to deal with. So if we were installing just one forward-facing camera, then what we would do is just use an adapter from Donger Technologies to plug it into the rear view mirror. That's the easiest and quickest way to do it. But since I have to have some sort of a power source for the rear-facing camera, I figured I would save the $30 and not use that adapter on the forward-facing one. So what we're doing is we're going to install a dual USB outlet. This one has two 2.4 amp outlets. And then we're going to use the stock wires that come with the Garmin. They're really long, so we'll be able to run one from the back and then one from the front. And we're going to run it down below the dash to where we wire in this outlet. Since I'm wiring it over on the left side of the kick panel, I could have just tapped into one of the cigarette lighters wirings, but instead it's just going to be easier and fewer wires just to use one of these wire taps. And this is for the mini blade fuse. And you might already know that this is what's on the Tacoma for your fuse cover, and you're not going to be able to fit this back on there after you put a wire tap, obviously. So I picked up this cover from Miso Customs, and it's taller. Not only is it taller, because of this tab right here, it makes it 1,000,000 times easier to get on and off. It's super easy. It would hold tighter than it is, but as you can see, trying to get this off, it actually broke some of the tabs. So it doesn't hold as tight as I would like, just because I broke the tabs getting this on and off. But it still works great. And I will throw up a separate video of this, kind of showing this a little bit better, because I haven't seen any videos on this fuse cover from Miso Customs. So I will put links to as many things as I can in the description. A lot of this was bought on Amazon. This mount was bought on eBay. They have mounts that come with a whole bunch of different adapters. This one only came with this dual ball adapter. So I don't know if you can see that or not. It's got a larger ball here. It's not the 1-inch ram ball, but it's larger here and then smaller here, so it'll fit in the top of the Garmin. And that's the only piece that it came with, so it's specifically for that. And that was like 10 bucks for the mount. So, all right, let's get on to the install. So for the rear camera, we're going to go ahead and use the factory mount that the Garmin comes with. And we're going to just stick it to the back window right here. I have an electric rear sliding window, but it goes that way. And we're going to use the factory cord that it comes with. And I'm running it up into the headliner. I remove this clip right here so that I can run the wire up over that so that it stays up in the headliner and it won't fall down out. I have all of this pulled loose. So you actually have to remove this back piece here. Then you can remove this side piece as well as this piece up here. This is held in by a bolt. This piece right here is held in by 3 bolts, and there are numerous clips. And we're going to run it down like this, and we're going to run it along the kick panel. So the mount itself just sticks to the glass. It's just a magnet. And then you just pop it right on there like that. So I'm having some difficulty getting this hook back into the headliner. What I'm thinking is you have to assemble this whole thing, all 3 pieces. There's a clip, a cover, and the hook, reassemble the whole thing, and then push it back in there. I also have to make sure that the cord is running up and over so that the headliner can go flush. And let's see if that'll work. There we go. And now that the cord is run from the camera up over the hook, it's coming down right here. There's a drain tube right here, and then there's like a cluster of wires. So I'm gonna put a couple of zip ties to connect the wire to the bundle of wires here to guide it down. The wires run all the way down to the bottom. All right, so we got everything put back. This panel was not the easiest thing. I had to take it out and put it back in a couple of times just to figure out how the clips were supposed to go. And then this one went back in, and now we're running the wire down the kickboard. So here's the back seat running board. I'm running it through here, and I'm going to do everything I can to see if I can just run it down through here instead of having to pull this loose. With the help of some fish tape, I was able to get the wire fed through there without having to pull it loose. Then we're just going to run it up front to the kick panel. So the hardest part of the install is probably going to be running the wires. Just want to be able to tuck them up in a way that they are hidden and not going to fall down. In order to run the wires cleanly as possible, I pulled the centerpiece down from the roof, and I pulled the A-pillar cover off from the driver's side, and I ran some fish tape through here and following the wires that are actually up here, and the fish tape comes out right here, and we're going to be able to run the wire up through here, and that allows me to avoid having to pull the headliner down in order to do the same thing that I'm doing right now. And then we're going to push the wire out through that way. Okay, we got the wire run. It goes up through the headliner. It's dangling down just behind the mirror. Goes up through the headliner, comes down the A-pillar here, and comes down through the kickboard. And the fish tape allowed me to run it through the headliner without pulling it down, and allowed me to easily run it down the dash. Okay, so the wire's run, the roof is put back in, the A-pillar cover is put back in, and the mount and camera are installed. I think, yeah, you can see the wire dropping down from the headliner going into the camera from here, but from the driver's seat, it's really clean, so you can't really see. It's all hidden behind the mirror when you're sitting in the driver's seat. Now that we have both the front and rear power cables for each camera run to the driver's side kickboard, we can wire in the USB power supply, and that'll be it. I mean, other than adjusting them to make sure that they're pointed in the right direction and testing. Well, we're going to try and see how well this records. As you can see, we got the Miso Customs fuse cover installed with the wire tap. There's the wire tap. And here's the USB outlet. I just zip tied it to some wires. I got the front camera and the rear camera plugged into it. And we're about to test it and make sure it turns on. So the fuse that I chose to tap into was the outlet, was the power outlet. There's actually two power outlets. There's one on the dash, and then there's one in the glove box. I'm guessing that that's power outlet number 2. So let's see if it turns on. As you can see, we got power. Hopefully, you can see that the blue light came on. And I can see the camera's doing something. So now we can set them up. So I'm not going to get into showing you how to program them or anything like that, but I'm going to at least show you that they do turn on. And as you can see, it has turned on, no issues. So that does it for this series that we did on dash cams. Be sure to hang out. I'm going to include some footage from the front-facing and rear-facing cam from the Tacoma. So we will catch you on the next one.